Welcome. Yeah. We don't have a resistance spec. How do you feel about that?
This is how we're getting to 5 minutes.
Hello, and welcome to our lab for our 1999 Acura TL. Today we'll be talking about the fuel injectors, fuel pump, really the whole electronics behind the fuel system. And as we can see here, we have a lovely wiring diagram for our fuel injectors, and we'll include a test for them later. But right now we're going to be doing a resistance spec. We're looking for around 12, 14 ohms. The manufacturer does not provide a resistance reading for them, but that's what we want to see right here. And not supplied by manufacturer. Gotta love it. Anyway, 13 ohms. That's right where we want to be. All right, let's get on to the tests.
Here's our fuel injector lab on the 1999 Acura TL. We currently have the fuel injector in what appears to be the second cylinder, pinned up with a picoscope with our reading right here. It's a roughly 12 voltage, dwells down to 0, spikes up to roughly 65, and then comes back down to our hold voltage with a duty cycle of roughly 0.28%, so 28% on time. Here's our fuel injector lab on the 1999 Acura TL. For this portion of the lab, we will be accelerating, or giving it more gas, and watching the scope, how it affects the scope when gas is given. Now you can see that the time between each firing of the injector shrinks to a very small amount in between each firing, but the dwell and the peak voltage do say this will always stay the same, but the time between each firing diminishes. This portion of the lab, we're going to look more at the duty cycle. So, as you can see, the duty cycle is increasing. As the engine revs higher and higher, our duty cycle goes up. It is holding right now, is just holding at an RPM. As the revs go up, our duty cycle is increasing more, meaning that the percent of time that the injector is firing is increasing. And then our duty cycle drops back down. So when as the duty cycle is increasing, that means the percent of time that the injector is firing is also increasing. Here's the fuel pump on the 1999 Acura TL. Here we can see we have a current of currently have voltage just over 12 volts. And here's our wiring diagram. You can see it comes right off the relay right here, and it goes right into our fuel tank and our fuel pump and straight to ground. From this we can determine, and the scope, that our fuel pump operates just off of a 12 volt, constant 12 volt signal. In addition, in the front of the car, there is a vacuum operated fuel pressure regulator, and it also has a return line to the fuel pump. And from that we can determine that the fuel pump has no regulated pressure and just spits out as much as it can, and then the regulator up front on the fuel rail regulates how much pressure or how much fuel it allows through, and then sends the extra back to the front or to the fuel tank.